Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my 2017 beauty. So these are all the things that I bought this year and I really don't like. Some I hate a lot more than others. Some I'm still kind of using because I still think that I can get some use out of it, and some I was just waiting to do this video so I can get rid of them, and that's either I'm just going to bin them or I'm going to sell them. Let's get into the video. So the things that I have not been loving, I'm going to do them in order of the type of product it is, and then have like a miscellaneous section kind of at the end because there's only one of that kind of item. Primark foundation. Now, one of my favorite foundations of 2017 was the Primark, the normal one. So I obviously went and bought the My Perfect Colour BB cream, also in the shade Toffee. The shade itself is perfect. Toffee is my shade. But this product is just not good. It's basically, it says a light medium coverage dewy finish. There's dewy and then there's oily. This is oily. This makes me oily. It moves around on the face pretty much after about 2 hours of wear. It doesn't really give that much coverage. I mean, I know it says light medium coverage, but I like to try to build things up. And if you're saying light to medium, that to me means it is buildable from light to medium. However, it doesn't matter how much I put on, the coverage just seems to stay the same. And I just did not really like it. The normal My Perfect Colour one that I've got costs £2.50. This costs £4, so it costs more, and it's just not that good at all. So thankfully I didn't spend loads of money on it, but I really don't like this. Staying with Primark, because obviously I was so happy with the first one that I got. Anytime I've seen another Primark foundation come out, I think a new full coverage one's come out, which I'm going to get my hands on hopefully soon. I picked up this cushion foundation. It's the My Perfect Colour cushion foundation in the shade Toffee, and this costs £5. I've only used it once and it was so bad, I can't even tell you. Firstly, the shade Toffee is almost white. It looks like this, and it's got the sponge like a normal cushion. The sponge is actually very hard and it's got a very horrible chemically scent to it. And the shade is almost white on me. Like, let me try and see if I can show it to you guys. Look at that. And don't forget that my hand is probably one of the lighter parts of my body right now. There ain't no sun in London. Well, it's sunny today, but it's white. Like, okay. So how can all the Toffee shades be the same? They're really not. It was patchy to apply on the face. I tried to darken it, which I will come to in a little while. Another product that I used to do that, which was also... The coverage it gives is supposed to give a light to medium coverage. It says light, medium, buildable coverage. No. Luminous finish. Yeah, I looked a bit shiny, but again, it wasn't flattering. It grabbed onto all the texture on my skin. It accentuated pores, and it is genuinely a very bad foundation, and I would not recommend this at all. Another foundation which may surprise some of you is this one by L'Oreal, the Infallible Pro Glow. The Pro Matte is one of my favorite foundations, hands down, out of all my foundations. And you may be surprised that I'm actually showing this to you guys. The shade that I've got is 208 Sun Beige. There is actually another shade available, but I wasn't able to buy it when I was in the US. For some reason they have it in Canada but not in the US, and I think that's 209. But regardless, I've mixed this with other foundations to try and get it to work. I find, even though it is a glowy foundation, I find it glowy bordering on greasy, similar to this BB cream by Primark. I just don't find that it looks that great. I find that the best way I can make this work is to mix it with a very matte foundation, and that way when I add this into it, it gives a very nice dewy glow, but it doesn't look awful. Wearing it on its own, on the other hand, I'm just not a big fan of it at all. This isn't one that I hate a lot. It's just one that I don't like so much. So, and I think I've got another one of these which I probably will sell because it's of no use to me. But personally, I don't really like this so much. Another foundation which I actually find very disappointing is this foundation here by The Ordinary. It's called the Coverage Foundation. So it's a high coverage foundation, and the shades that I have is 2.1Y and 2.0YG. I have to mix them together in order to get my perfect shade. Now luckily they don't cost a lot of money, and I don't think I've ever done a review on these, which maybe I should have done. But I firstly don't find them to be very full coverage. Not in my mind what full coverage is supposed to be, like the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation, the Jouer the Jouer Essential Coverage Foundation. Those are full coverage foundations. These are not. These are medium to buildable foundations. I find that after about 2 to 3 hours, I start to look very, very shiny. So I don't know how people with oily skin would be able to make this work. And that is with using primer as well. I find that it grabs onto the texture on my skin. I find that it accentuates pores. I think the only people that are able to really make this work are those people who've got almost perfect skin anyway, and they only use a really little amount. So to those kind of people, they wouldn't notice so much of the oiliness because they haven't got that much product on their face to begin with. But if you're like me, you've got discoloration, you've got texture, you've got large pores, and you need that extra coverage, this will not work for you. This will definitely not do it. I just don't think that this is very good at all. I actually have the serum foundation, which funnily enough I've still not had the chance to use, but I'll be interested to see how it compares with this. But personally, I'm just not a fan of it at all. I don't think that full coverage foundations, and it says lightweight serum formula. Maybe it's because it's got a serum in it, it makes you oily. I've got normal to combination skin. So for a foundation to start turning oily on me, it says a lot because I don't have oily skin. Concealers. I've got 3 concealers to show you guys, and they just all happen to be from the same brand. They are also from Primark. They are called the My Perfect Color liquid concealers. It says it's a medium coverage, vitamin E and aloe vera. It is not medium coverage. It is lighter than light. I literally apply it again and again and again and again, and I haven't even blended it out, but I can still see my skin underneath. I'm like, what? Blend it in with my beauty blender, I can still see my skin underneath. It kind of looks a bit oily as well, so it starts to separate under the eyes. It starts to settle within the lines under my eyes as well, and I just don't think that these are very good at all. They're £2. I do have to say, when it comes to Primark, certain parts of their makeup range is absolutely excellent, better than a lot of higher brands out there. But then some of their makeup is complete and absolute dud. There is literally no in between. There's either really, really good or really, really bad. So these come under bad. I've got 3 shades. I've got nude, toffee, and I bought rich espresso to use for contouring. Even when I used it for contouring, it was so light, it literally faded into my foundation into nothing. And I was like, well, what's the point of you as well then? Now let's move on to eyeshadow palettes. There were a couple that I was not a fan of this year, or last year now even, sorry. And the first one was one of the things I got at the beginning of the year, and it is the Zoeva Sweet Glamour eyeshadow palette. It's got all these gorgeous looking pastel shades, and you would think that, oh, okay, pastel, it will look beautiful. They're very, very chalky. They're not pigmented enough. They look pale. I mean, they hardly come off. It's just a very poorly performing palette. And the joke is, as part of the Sweet Glamour collection, there was a blush palette with a highlighter in it as well, which is excellent quality, beautifully pigmented, blends lovely. And this one is the complete opposite. So this eyeshadow palette has not been touched since the beginning of the year. This one shouldn't really be surprising, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. Now, I didn't give it hideous reviews when it first came out, and I obviously said that these are pressed pigments. You've got to be very gentle with them. They're very intensely pigmented, etc. However, it is still one of the poorly performing eyeshadow palettes of 2017. Regardless of the fact of whether I've been able to make it work or not, I shouldn't have to make something work. It should already be able to work itself, you know, that sort of thing. So I definitely think that this one has deserved its place in this regrets video. Now, this one will definitely be a surprise to some of you lot. It's the Colourpop's Golden State of Mind eyeshadow palette. This is one of their holiday eyeshadow palettes. Oh my god, to look at, it's absolutely stunning. All beautiful, rich metallic shades, shimmery shades, and it's to look at, it's absolutely gorgeous. But in terms of how it performs badly. When I swipe my brush over it, it doesn't pick up much onto the brush, and even once I finally get it onto the brush and apply it to the lid, the colour is not as intense as it shows on here, and the same is for all of these shades. The only way that I'm able to make any of these shades work is to use it wet. I just don't find that the quality is there. Like, I'll rub my finger over it and it's just come off in like bits and pieces. It's just not as pigmented as it is shown here, which is a shame because if you look at it, it's such a pretty palette, but hey. And then the last eyeshadow palette I'm going to show you is from the Dose of Colours Desi and Katie collaboration. This one I think is called The Girls. I did a review on this when I mentioned even then that I wasn't a fan of it. You've got to use half of these shades with your fingers. You can't use a brush with them. There's no matte shade in it. They're all shimmer shades. So what are you supposed to use it with? You then have to go and buy another eyeshadow palette or use other brands in order to get this to show up on your eyes. There's only one shade, I think it's this golden one, which shows up beautifully, and the rest are just not that good. Now, if 3 out of the 4 shades are bad, that to me means it's just not worth the money. The OPV Glitter Pigment Pressed Glitters. All of the ones that I've got are absolutely dreadful. I've only actually opened 2 of them because I refused to open any more because I just thought it's a waste of money. Maybe I can sell them. Maybe somebody will want it for their kids' craft project or something. But the glitters do not stick to the eyes properly. You can use a glitter base no matter what you use. They don't stick. It's patchy, it's gritty. The pieces of glitter are huge. They scratched my eyes. I wear contact lenses, got stuck in my contact lens. It was just a big faff. Dropped glitter all over my face. These are just really, really bad. Moving on to highlighters and highlighter palettes. The Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Highlighter in Metal Moon. And that is the kind of ivory white sort of shade. I mentioned in a video of mine, I mean, look at that. It's like a white powder, but there's nothing highlighty about it. I blend it into my hand and it pretty much blends into nothing. There's nothing there. Even if you're fair of skin, this still won't show up on you. It blends into nothing. It looks just like a white powder to look at it. There's no sheen to it. There's no real color to it. It is completely opposite to the other highlighter, Trophy Wife, which is intense, glittery, full-on pigment. This is the complete opposite of that. Well, this is a big waste of money. Another palette I'm going to show you guys from Colourpop is this one here, and this one is called Gimme More Pressed Powder Highlighter. Again, I was so disappointed with it. To look at it, the colours, they look beautiful. But again, swipe my finger over it, hardly anything has come off. And it's the same as it is with the eyeshadow palette that I showed you guys, in that it looks beautiful, but when you try and put it onto your brush, hardly anything comes off. When you finally get it onto your face, you have to go backwards and forwards about 5-6 times for an actual colour to show up. And I just don't think that that should be the way with any kind of highlighter. I've got a load of Colourpop, their other highlighters, their duo sets, their individual powder highlighters. They're excellent quality. This one, I'm not sure what happened with this one. Maybe it was a rush job, I don't know. But personally, I don't think out of all of their highlighters, this is probably the worst performing one. Now, this one should not be a surprise. The Huda Beauty highlighting palettes that she first came out with earlier on in the year. This one is Golden Sands and this one is Pink Sands. I mentioned to you guys in the video, when I did the video, I think I did a demo as well. 1 or 2 shades are okay, but the rest of them are really just not nice. The actual cream powders are just meh, if that's even a reason. The powder highlighters, they show up somewhat, but I just don't find that the colours themselves are that nice. This shade here, Seashells, is probably the only one that I use the most. And out of this palette, maybe Azores, but that's the 2 golden ones. The other ones are just neglected and I don't even use the cream ones. I definitely think that her summer highlighter palette was a lot better than these 2. Okay, let's move on to lipsticks now. Colourpop brought out these ultra blotted lips earlier on in the year, following on from their blotted lips, which were just lipsticks which you apply to your lips and it looks like a juicy colour has appeared. It's not an intense opaque shade. Now, they brought out these like liquid lipstick kind of versions. They are so drying and uncomfortable. Like, seriously, I know how Colourpop's liquid lipsticks can be quite drying, some of them, but they've got different types. They've got metallics, they've got their satin ones, and then they've got their matte ones, and then they brought out these. And I bought these in a hurry because I liked the actual the blotted lips, the lipsticks on their own. They're for people who don't like to wear full-on makeup. I don't know why I bought them. I was being greedy. And they just give that nice wash of colour. Now, when you first apply it to your lips, it feels like you've put like a jelly product on. It feels lovely. You can smush your lips together. They feel soft and jelly-like, and then they dry and it's all over from there. Your lips feel like they have been shrunk. They feel drying, they get flaky. The colour obviously is already quite soft as it is. It fades even more and it just feels really, really uncomfortable. I think out of all these 4 that I bought, I've only used 2 of them. So I really don't like them. This liquid lipstick is called Lip Whip by Beauty Bakery. It's the only lipstick of theirs I have, and the shade that I bought is called Take Me for Pomegranate. Again, very, very, very drying. I mean, I can handle dry liquid lipsticks. I wear all the different brands, as you guys know. For me to say something is too drying, like the Colourpop one and this one, means it's just too much. And all it takes is for me to not like one lipstick of a brand for me to not buy any more. And I was trying out Beauty Bakery for the first time, their liquid lipsticks. When I got this, the colour itself is absolutely gorgeous, not gonna lie. It's a beautiful pomegranate shade. But when you apply it, it looks gorgeous, and then it just becomes so drying straight away, and then it starts to flake and it just looks horrible. So yeah, won't be buying these again. More lipsticks that were a hideous disappointment are the Hollywood Lips by Charlotte Tilbury. These cost £24 each. For that price, you should be excellent. 10 out of 10, there should be no problems. These are drying, again, just like the Beauty Bakery ones. I find that their applicator is weird. It's like a square shape. When you look at it, it's all thick and moussey. It applies horribly. Unless somebody's got square lips, I don't know why they've got a square tipped applicator. It does not make sense to me. When you apply it, it's very mousse-like, which is lovely, but then it's very, very drying. I bought the shades Showgirl, Screen Siren and Dangerous Liaison, and I also found that their liquid lipstick range is very much geared towards fair skin tones, not Asian or black skin tones. When I was there, I was like, okay, there's like 5 shades of nude and these 3. And that's it. Even the models they were showing, none of them were of a deeper skin tone. So when I even asked the guy in the store, and he was just like, you know, when somebody gives you that uncomfortable look when you go and ask them a question they're not prepared for. I was like, excuse me, why aren't any of these geared towards women of colour? And he was just like, he didn't know what to say. And I was like, come on. And he did agree with me, to be fair. He was like, yeah, they are. All the people on the models, all the models showing the lip swatches are all fair skinned. So they've got naturally pink lips. So even the representation of the shades that you're showing are completely incorrect, because how they look on her is not how they will look on me or anybody deeper of skin tone. So I think these are a big fat waste of money. They're not even that great. Like I said, for 20 odd quid, you should be excellent. From Jeffree Star's summer collection, this lipstick here, this velour liquid lipstick called Flamboyant. It's more the colour than anything else that I don't like. It's a metallic liquid lipstick and it's got this weird kind of corally pink colour to it. It makes me look slightly ill when I wear it, not gonna lie. And I have found the best way to wear this is on top of other liquid lipsticks, but on its own, because it's not completely opaque, I have to layer it quite a bit, then it becomes quite uncomfortable. So for this one, it's like a so-so, but that's the reason why it's ended up in this video. Back with Huda Beauty again and her summer liquid lipsticks, these 2 in particular, which is Wild Child and Mamacita. Patchy, not consistent with the rest of her liquid lipsticks, which is odd because I find her liquid lipsticks to be pretty damn good. The quality of these is very different. I find the liquid itself has got like little pieces of grit in it. It's kind of lumpy, kind of gritty. Does not apply fully opaque. Looks weird. I have to layer it because they're not completely opaque, like I said. And the more you apply, the more uncomfortable it gets. So I did not like these. Okay, into the miscellaneous section, and funnily enough, some of these things are skin based, and they're from the same brand. Now, for those of you in the US, obviously you know of the brand Glossier. It comes from the US. It was released in the UK a few months ago. Everybody was excited. It was all hyped up. Yeah, we love it. It's all about natural beauty and natural beauty and all that kind of jazz. So I bought one of their sets. This one here, the Milky Jelly Cleanser Conditioning Face Wash. What a load of rubbish. This isn't even good enough for me to wash my car with. Okay, so this is how I remove my makeup. I use a makeup wipe and I remove most of the gunk on my face, the eye makeup, the lipstick and all of that. Then I go and I wash my face with a cleanser before I tone and moisturize so everything is clean. So I remove most of my makeup. I use about 2-3 makeup wipes to the point where there is nothing hardly even left on the makeup wipe. The whole purpose of a cleanser is to remove that remaining residue and scrub it properly clean with a bit of soap and water. Used this. I use my toner afterwards. Why is this makeup on my cotton wool? Why is there makeup on it? This doesn't remove anything. This is literally useless. The only good thing about this is that if you wear contact lenses and you get it into your eyes, it's okay. It's contact lens friendly. That's probably the only good thing. And it says on here, massage cleanser onto dry or damp skin and rinse thoroughly. Well, I did that after removing all my makeup. But yet the bits of makeup that I may have missed, like a little bit of foundation around the edges, that's normally the bits that most of us tend to miss, or around the hairline. It was all still there. It didn't do anything. All it did was wet my skin, and that was it. So, not fan of this. Also in the same set I got was the Glossier Priming Moisturizer Buildable Hydrating Cream. It does not prime and it does not moisturize my skin. I have, like I said, I've got all normal to combination skin. The moisturizer which I use and have been using for over a year now is the Embryolisse cream. It's thick enough, moisturizing enough, and it acts as a primer. It's excellent. I'm on my 4th tube. So I wanted to try something different. Heard good things about it, but unfortunately it's just not up to par. It's not good enough for me. I think that this, I don't know who this will work well with. I used it the one time and that's all it took to put me off. When I applied my foundation, it didn't feel like it was applying, like gliding onto the skin like it does when I use my Embryolisse followed by a primer. And I just don't think that this is that good. And the last thing I got from them, actually the only thing that I did like of theirs was the lip balm, which came in a tube, ironic. This one here called Boy Brow Grooming Pomade. So basically it is a brow gel. It's just the name for it, a coloured brow gel. I love the tiny little applicator to properly get it in, but oh my god, it's dreadful to apply. It's patchy, it drags, the fibres come off during the day, it rubs off, and I was just like, no thank you very much. I will stick to my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel. And I will say something, Glossier ain't that cheap. It's mid-price range. So the kind of stuff that they're coming out with, I really don't like it. Yes, I'm all for natural beauty. These are all skincare products. I wouldn't really call them makeup. So I wouldn't even want to know what the makeup is like. From Colourpop, their brow colour. My shade is in Bangin' Brunette. I actually really like their brow pencil. It's what I'm using right now. But this is the... like Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow, this is exactly like their version of it. I found it not very pigmented and not pigmented enough. I found this to be very kind of mousse-like, but like not in a good way. I didn't find that it had enough pigment to it. I found that when I brushed over it with my spoolie, the product itself completely came off as well. So I think I'm just going to stick to my Anastasia Beverly Hills. I just wanted to try a more affordable version, but unfortunately I just don't find that this is as good as their brow pencil. And the last thing I'm going to show you, and the reason I'm showing it to you now, is this is from Primark. It's My Perfect Colour Darkening Shade Adjusting Drops. So when I said to you guys that this was too light for me, I was like, hold on, I bought this. 1, 2 drops, slowly built it up to try and obviously make sure I got the right shade. This has got grey undertones, people. There is no warmth to it. This is a cool toned product. Like, what? When I put it on my face, I looked grey, and the joke is I wasn't at home with all my makeup. I was in the gym. And I had taken this with me because I'd swatched it on my hand and noticed it was too white. So I took this with me. When I was in the gym, can you imagine? All hell broke loose. I was like, what do? I can't go to work like this. I had to put more of this white crap on my face and then use my bronzer to bronze it all down. This is terrible. I've even got the lightning drops. I've not used those yet. And I do have the Body Shop ones, which I am interested to see how they perform compared to this. So I may do a video about how to lighten and darken your foundation using drops like this. But for those of you out there that may have seen this or may be interested, don't get it. Unless your skin is naturally grey, which means you're a zombie, there is nobody that will benefit from this at all. This needs to be warm toned, not grey, so that it leaves black splotches on your face. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm getting really hot in here. Am I just getting worked up? What is it? No, it's because I got the heater on next to me. So what else can I say? On my lips, I'm wearing Fenty Beauty's Uncensored Stunna Liquid Lipstick. And I don't have any eyeliner on today, guys. I filmed a makeup tutorial for you earlier, which maybe you've seen by now, maybe you haven't, I don't know. I never upload my videos in order. It's always some random order. So I'm not wearing any eyeliner, but I did throw on extra makeup on because we all know natural makeup is just not my thing. And what else can I say? So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know the things that you hated this year. And what about all this stuff that I got? Were there any things that you actually liked out of these that maybe I should reconsider, or maybe I should try to use in a different way? Let me know below. Other than that, I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I'll see you all in the next video.